I started with CNA about 8 years or so ago with a very strong influence on the banking sector, having had an early career within that environment. It was an obvious choice to build my business upon contacts that already existed and I guess utilise a BlackBerry full of further contacts that maybe I hadn't spoken to in a couple of years. Well, CNA, as you are aware, is now part of the larger Pertemps network group. Back in my original days, CNA was very much a standalone franchise organisation with some support, but that's one of the biggest things that has changed quite radically since we've joined the larger group with Pertemps. We now got access to a whole range of other companies within the group, some of which are owner businesses as well. So there's a lot of affinity and like-minded attitudes to the way that we build our business. The scope really is huge. We can work right the way down to low-level volume recruitment through to board-level executive search assignments and everything in between. Wow, my business has changed again quite dramatically over the last 12 months. Originally within the banking community, it was a business that provided very well for me and quite lucrative as well. That, as I'm sure is no surprise to anybody, somewhat dissipated over the last few years, and with all of the changes within the banks, I really had to rethink where my business was going for the future. And at that point, another colleague came on board who was within engineering consultancy, something I knew absolutely nothing about, but generated an interest. And that has really built up very, very strongly indeed, both within the UK and indeed across Europe and the Middle East. So now I can become, I guess, an aficionado in multidisciplinary consultancy, which incorporates water, rail, development infrastructure, and various other guises and disciplines. I guess the flexibility of being your own boss is something that was genuine appeal. I had children at the time that were of school age, so I really had to factor that into my decision making. They weren't demanding, they certainly didn't need after school care, but I needed to be, I guess, available should the time ever arise. Being your own boss gives you that scope. If you want a spa day with the girls, you can go and do it, providing obviously you've made arrangements to cover your phone calls and incoming calls, but the flexibility is of paramount importance. If I choose to work until 9 o'clock at night, especially with now calling across the Middle East, it enables me to do that. I don't have to think, well, you know, my business is at traditional office hours, it's what I choose it to be. CNA is a great business to be a part of. I live in the village where my office is based and choose to actually come into the office environment for the team support. It's good to feel as though you're part of a bigger family, especially when you're setting up in the early days, to have people around you that are like-minded. It really does give you that confidence to keep going when the times do get tough. But it's a superb opportunity, but you've got to be dedicated, you've got to be focused, you've got to want to do this. It can be hard work, but extremely lucrative at the end of the day.